Morning. Oh, Health and Human Service will come to order. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Baker McCormick, Commissioner Marecki, Commissioner Anderson,
Present.
Commissioner Colleen, Chair Scott.
Present.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have no remarks, but we got a busy day today, so we'll move fast on these things today, hopefully. We're gonna start. Oh, go ahead with the next one, please.
C, approval of the September 9th, 2025 meeting minutes.
All right. Moved by Anderson, supported by Colleen. All in favor? And I vote yes. Thank you.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, next item.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Okay, next item.
Moving to item 1 under new business. Discussion with Vista Maria, DBA Insight Youth and Family Connections regarding an update on current operations.
Okay, so we're gonna have this discussion before the vote. Morning, ladies. Put your mic on, please. The little,
Oh, I'm Tawana Rogers Reese, VP of Community Programs at Vista Maria. Good morning. My name is Kathy Regan. I served 12 years as the CFO of Vista Maria and the last 60 days as the CEO. So go Lions.
and they're going, thank you.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you, and let it be known that Commissioner Marecki has joined us.
Duly noted.
Thank you. And we will start off with this discussion. Any questions? Commissioner Colleen? No?
Presentation.
I believe, so you last spoke to Meredith Reese, our colleague, regarding some of the most recent media attention. And I think this was an opportunity to come back and give you an update on where Vista Maria is at. So I'm happy to speak to that if you'd like. I believe that Meredith was here in May, soon after the first newscast occurred. And so here's what I can tell you as of mid-September. We went on a placement suspension. That means that we were taking no more children on our residential program for about 3 months. That has opened up again. All of our staff has been retrained in residential, trauma-informed, and all of the MELU. We also have made repairs to buildings, about $500,000 of repairs, and we've started to intake children. So we have 11 on campus right now. I did have the great pleasure, maybe not so much pleasure, of doing another interview with WDIV. Unfortunately, it only represented probably 5 seconds of a 30-minute interview. So I invite the commissioners to go to the Vista Maria website. The entire 32 minutes is posted there. So you can hear in more detail, kind of in context, what we have going on.
Okay. And also that Commissioner McCormick has joined us. All right. Still no? Okay. Commissioner Colleen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So what kind of procedural changes have gone on in the last few months?
Yeah, so great question. We have gone through all of our policies and protocols as it relates to children who decide to exit the campus. And working with Dearborn Heights Police, we have new protocol in place in terms of following children. We certainly don't put hands on children. There are no seclusions and limited restraints that go on, but it's really how we're reacting to kids, especially in their heightened states. Residential is it's a different ball game these days. It is very difficult under the regulatory pressures that we're under. So we have smaller numbers of kids in buildings because you get too many and it really starts to get a little bit heightened. So it's more about identifying what the therapeutic interventions are going to be so that we can keep the temperature down.
And kids walking off campus. I don't think that's been too much of a problem over the years, but where are you at with that?
Yeah, there have always been from time to time children who decide they would like to go to Burger King. And so we walk with them. It became, I'll say, an issue because of the media attention. We call the police quite often because we can't restrain in certain circumstances, and the police can. So that was a sore point for Dearborn Heights Police, which we don't blame them. Every residential provider in the state is having to rely a great deal on their local police departments. So kids leaving campus is not the real issue. It's heightened energy in those buildings, physical assaults. Vista Maria was just notified that our workers' comp carrier has decided that they will not pick up our insurance next year. We are not the only ones who are dealing with that. We have had a number of staff injuries, and really, it is our mantra that safety is sacred. And that's not just kids' safety, that's our staff as well. So we are constantly reassessing whether we can continue to operate in the residential space. So many of our sister organizations that are out there have already exited. It's really tragic because these kids don't have anywhere to go. They will end up in shelters, in foster homes that you've heard of the family or the situations where kids have gone through 20 busted placements. That's because they don't belong in a foster home. They require more mental health treatment, but there aren't a lot of providers. We used to have 150 kids on our campus at one point in residential. I have 11. The struggle is real. And my fear is that these children are going to be left to shelters that are already overwhelmed. The state regulatory pressure, though, is something that we just can't fight.
I'm going to ask you to follow up on that last comment in a minute, but when you say your sister organization's gotten out of the housing, is that local? Is that statewide?
Everybody from, it's statewide,
Okay.
but Methodist went down beds. Wedgewood continues to struggle. There's a great, if you go, the House had a joint subcommittee hearing for CCI providers. That's what we're considered, child caring institutions. 3 CEOs spoke, including Spectrum, Eagle Village, and Wedgewood. They give you a great idea of the struggles of providers like Vista Maria. The regulatory piece that I'm talking about is when the only weapon, really, weapon's not the greatest word to use, but in congregate care that you have is verbal de-escalation. That doesn't work. I want you to imagine that you have a child who is your own children who are heightened. You would send them to their room. There would be some type of a directive. You can't do that. That's considered seclusion. We really, the system itself needs a hard look.
And, you know, the foster care system has been overwhelmed for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know over what period of time, you've gone from 100 and some to 11?
Yeah.
how many of the kids that have stayed in other nonprofits like yourself no longer, how many kids used to be in residential in that system, but now are, I guess, off to foster care?
Yeah. So in 2020, there were 1,200 kids in residential beds. Okay, 1,200. There are now available 450. But the need has gone up because psychiatric beds have gone down for adolescents. So you're getting higher acuity kids in residential, and the rest are in normal foster care settings.
Hospital psychiatric beds?
That's correct.
What about working with DeWin? They've been Detroit Wayne
Yeah.
Integrated Health Network. They've been expanding to offer some beds.
Yeah.
Are you working in conjunction with them? But
Yeah, great. That's a great organization. We use their services immediately when it comes to assessing children who are heightened.
Mhm.
So they will come on our campus. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. We need more beds and we need more ability to really regulate kids, because once they become dysregulated, I'm sorry, but verbal de-escalation is not going to change the circumstance. Just last night, we had kids who refused to go back onto their wing to go to bed. And staff has to stay up all night in a hallway, speaking to them, trying to get, it's really, it doesn't make much sense.
well, I'll phrase it like this. The state has failed on psychiatric beds for quite some time. Because the need has been known. Is there any kind of formal discussions, negotiations going on with Lansing for how to fix this? Is there any committee in the legislature that's looking at this? This is needed attention for forever, just about.
Yeah.
So what's the discussion like in Lansing?
Well, Director Hertel has also been in front of the House giving testimony. It was painful to watch from even looking at it from her perspective, because they really had a lot of very pointed questions for her. I don't know that there is a short-term committee that's been tasked with this, especially it's probably going to be the next group who come in, next governor and their appointees. It must be done. Foster care has gone down to 10,000 kids, which that's great. It used to be upwards of 14,000, but still much work to be done with the highest of acuity.
I'm afraid where those 4,000 kids went, but and thank you, Madam Chair, for giving me a little leeway here. In either the proposed House budget or the proposed Senate budget, does either one of those proposed budgets have any relief here?
No.
Thank you, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What year did that law or whatever it is,
Yeah.
regulation come into effect?
November of 22 is
Okay.
when the limited restraints and no seclusions came into place.
And was that voted on, or was that a department?
It was a department, well, I shouldn't say that. It is, I believe it's law now. And it's not, there shouldn't be seclusions. I think it's the definition of what a seclusion is that is really, it's subject for interpretation until the department, which it has, rules on, here's the definition, which means we can't send kids to their rooms.
Which is also affecting all the other kids. I mean, it's,
Absolutely.
it's not just, it's ridiculous, if you ask me, especially, like you said, if you're a parent, you can see what kids do.
Sure.
So, and further on Tim's question, is there any person in Lansing right now that's interested in this? I mean, there's not a committee, it sounds like, but is there any person, legislator that's interested?
I think that there are a few, and I'm happy to get those names to this commissioner group. But and they're mostly visible in this May special hearing where the actual CEOs spoke at it. They're very interested. So I'll get those names to you.
Yeah, I would just be interested. And it's too bad, DIV, after they tried to ruin you at the beginning, now they're putting a 5-second,
Yeah.
follow-up on there. The other thing, do you have a choice in who comes to your place? I mean, can you kind of vet who's coming in?
So we are able to say this is the level of IQ. These are some of the behaviors that we cannot properly handle. But other than that, they're rather broad. The state has what's called no eject, no reject. So we cannot reject a child that they refer. If we do, we will incur penalties. We also cannot eject a child, regardless of what their behaviors are, or we will get fined. So, you're really behind a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's the kids who are also in the building who get traumatized by the behaviors. 100%.
Affects way more than just that one person that can't go to their room to
Right.
calm down. Well, that's too bad, and good for you for hanging in there, because I'm not sure I would do that after hearing this history of what's gone on.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much for what you do. Just hearing what I've heard so far, it seems as though we're moving backwards instead of forward. And it's really disappointing when you talk about the lives of our children and just that it doesn't seem like the law is helping in this process of helping them, period. And so to Commissioner Marecki's point about who is in the space working to move us in a different direction, what I'd like to see is maybe a group of interested parties come together from not just the state, but local and community, parents getting involved, because this is serious, and it doesn't seem like anyone is doing anything to correct the path that we're on. And so when you talked about you're not really sure of what you can do to I'm missing, it's not discipline, but to correct a condition
Sure.
of a young person, is there any remedies that you guys have came up with that may work or have worked in the past to kind of steer a young person in the right way? And then the other part is parents. Can you actually get the parents involved? And I don't know if they're helpful or if the reason they're in the space is because of the parent.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Those are all great questions. So yes, there certainly are times when parents are involved, family is involved, and they, from the moment the child is admitted into Vista Maria, they're a part of the process. So we make sure that they're on the front side. Things that work. Certainly the connection with the kids, whether it's the therapist or it's what we call a youth coach, that connection is crucial because they'll listen to that person or those people. We try to keep the kids very active. very, very active. All kinds of activities in the building, outside the building, and movies, things that will keep them occupied. But here's the rub, and we've seen this most recently and this past weekend. We have 2 children who got bad news during one of their calls with their caseworker at DHHS. The place they were going to go, the time they were going to leave was changed. It was broken. That sends a child into hopelessness. It does. We can all imagine it. 13, 14-year-old girl who thought she was going to aunt's house, that all of a sudden that's not going to happen. So we're the ones who are holding that child's hand and trying to get them to feel good about themselves and find the resilience to keep going. There's no bad guy in this situation, though, in terms of even the state. It's an unintended consequence that we have rules that really don't fit the circumstance. You may remember Lakeside was the residential provider where that young man was, I'll call it restrained, in a lunch area, and it was improper, and the child ended up dying. And that's where the legislation came out about no restraint or limited restraints and no seclusions. The problem is that in practice, it went too far the other way. And we just need balanced minds coming to the table to come up with, I get it, this is human services, this isn't computer services. And so there's got to be some subjectivity, though, to make this work. Family is crucial in these pieces, and giving kids access to making phone calls to families when something like that occurs where they have a placement that's not going to happen. But please know, it's the people at Vista who hold that hand, who try to hold that child when they're crying. Sometimes it's different, though. That's trauma that comes out as either fighting, and they fight staff, they fight each other, or flee. They leave campus, they're done, they're going to go and find their own future. So we've got everything all at once going on. And yes, the fight seems nearly impossible to stay in this business, I'll tell you. Vista's your longest running nonprofit in the state of Michigan. We've been doing this for over 140 years. We are committed to Wayne County and the families in Wayne County. But when things stack up against all providers, we have to give it a second look and go, is this best for even Vista's mission? Because even staff aren't safe.
The last question I have is the numbers. You said there's only 11
Yes.
young people out of, what's the capacity?
So we're licensed for 47. We actually have the capacity to be 100 beds, but we can't have that many kids in one building. We have a total of 5 residential buildings. So we could have up to 47, but I got to tell you, I have one building that has 11 kids. We will go no more than 12. And at 11 kids, it's rocking and rolling. It's difficult to get this right. I don't even know what right is anymore. But we're trying to keep kids and staff safe.
Okay, so it's more of a safety issue,
Mhm.
why you're keeping the numbers
Yes.
low. But you also indicated that if the state gave you more, that you couldn't turn them away. Is that
That's
correct?
true. But I'd rather pay the fine than
Okay.
put people
In
in
danger.
jeopardy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks for being here. I know this is a very difficult situation to deal with, and I just wondered, is there no benefit or that you would see by having a reward system for some of those kids or is that something you employ already, or is that naive on my part to I
Not
think that
naive
would
at all.
make a difference.
Yeah, we do have, we don't deem them as rewards. We use different language, but in essence, that is what it is. And so, with the hope that moves kids to make the right decisions. Yes.
I really, I know it's a difficult thing for us to deal with because we're in a position to whether to continue going the route we have with Vista Maria, but I don't think we really have any choice. It's really, and I applaud you for doing what you're doing because if it weren't for organizations like Vista Maria, as you mentioned, we would really be in a without any one to step in probably because of the difficulties that sometimes the legislature has placed on the facility. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Kleen.
Thanks for recognizing me again,
Mhm.
Madam Chair. One thing I forgot about. What is the criteria that the state uses to say, okay, we're going to send this kid to Vista Maria? What is the criteria?
So each residential provider provides their own admission grid that says, here's what we can accept. And the state takes all of those admission rules. And as a child comes through, they get assessed. And if they meet the requirements of provider one, it gets sent to provider one to say yes or no.
And that depends on what kind of staff you have.
That's right.
Okay. And so the state accepts from you. They don't try to tell you what you have to have, that you need to hire more of this or.
Well, we have contracts with the state that define what our ratios need to be staffing wise. And it's assumed that we will have the staff. You all know that direct care workers, we've experienced 100% turnover in a year. That's not unusual.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms there.
These are the same people that we had banners out and signs out because we love our direct care workers during COVID. But boy, oh boy.
But what is the criteria then for being assigned to you once they are evaluated? What turns up on their evaluation where the state says, oh, this is Vista Maria?
Yeah. So if the child presents as having, normal IQ, they are not in the juvenile justice system, CMO. So Tawana and Dana, who's with us too, they run the juvenile justice side for case management. None of those children, though, are sent to Vista Maria. We do not have a juvenile justice residential program. We have mental health stabilization. So these children would all test in that arena. So they may have aggression, but they'll have no charges against them. They may be, fire starters or highly sexualized, or there are a number of different kind of profiles that would fit, and they would come to us. They have to be female between the ages of 11 and 18. There are times where we have taken children as young as 8.
Okay. Okay, and some of these kids would qualify for a psychiatric bed in a hospital,
Some of them would, yes.
but that doesn't bother the state at all. That they assign
The
them to you.
state's intention is to keep children safe, connected to family, looking for permanency. If you come to Vista, you will be safe. We will keep you as safe as we possibly can. But that's not always what these children need. Some of them have psychological problems that need really psychiatric care.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me
Thank
back
you.
in. Yeah.
Commissioner McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question as to how long do they stay? What's the length of time? Mhm.
It's certainly the state would like this to be short term, 90 to 180 days, so 3 months to 6 months. But the reality is these children do not stabilize within that time period. It is not unusual for a child to be with us a year, even 2 years. But the problem is that if you have, it's only because there's nowhere for them to go. And there's a point in which you all know, if you're in an institution, congregate care for too long, you start to go backwards. That's also a problem. And I want to say that you've asked me more insightful questions than WDIV, and that can go in the meeting minutes.
Wow.
Hopefully they're on Zoom.
Hmm. So I'm really puzzled by how long you can continue.
So I don't want, we continue to be committed to Wayne County. I need to give you a sense of this residential care represents 3% of the children that we actually see on a monthly basis. We see almost 100 in the juvenile justice arena. So Tawana's area, actually 97% of our kids are in Tawana's area, which is community. These 3% of kids take up 99.9% of our time trying to fix that which appears to be unfixable from a rural perspective. And it takes 200% of our dollars. We will lose money in 2025. I do not want the commissioners to worry about that. We certainly have talked to our funders as well as are using cash reserves to cover it. But at some time, folk, I'm going to have to cut the program. If we can't make the type of change that's needed, then it's just not good for anyone.
Yeah.
I don't want it to sink the ship, as it were.
Yeah. That's really my question is
Yeah.
how long?
Yeah.
will you continue.
We'll make a decision before the end of the year. Yeah.
All right.
It is not an easy one, though. Those children need to go someplace.
They do. Well, I think that Commissioner McCormick had a good idea. If we could
Yes.
bring some community and some elected officials together and we can sit down and try to hammer this out
Yeah. Great idea.
because we've got to do something.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner McCormick.
To that point, Madam Chair, is it, I guess, maybe something that you can call and convene a meeting requesting state DHSS to, just
Okay.
to see if we can get them here and
Okay.
discuss it further, because it doesn't seem that there is a solution, or at least we're moving towards a solution.
Right.
It doesn't seem, because
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing right
Right.
now. We don't really have a resolve,
No.
and we need to figure that out. So, yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
so
Yeah,
if
we're
we
gonna-
can,
I'll be glad to do that. So we'll work on it. All right. Well, thank you both for coming today.
Thank you all. Appreciate your questions.
Thank you. Yeah. Right. Next item.
Our next 5 items are the CMOs. Item 2,
Okay.
requesting commission approval of Amendment 15 to a 2-year contract with 3 one-year options to renew with Vista Maria DBA Inside Youth and Family Connections to account for fiscal year 2025 third quarter payment adjustment decrease and add funding for fiscal year 2026 to continue to provide comprehensive treatment plans to juveniles in accordance with the requirements of the juvenile justice system.
All right. Thank you. All right. Doctor.
Good morning, Rachel
Good morning.
Davis, Director, JYS. Cecily Hoagland, Chief of Administration, JYS.
All right, because we'll just take all the CMOs together.
Okay, we're here. I'm sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay. We're here because the current contract for the CMOs expire on September 30th, 2025. This is a final renewal available under the existing contract structure and will extend services through September 30th of 2026. The programs and services provided by the CMOs are critical to the youth within Wayne County's continuum of care. And to ensure continuity and secure these essential services beyond the current term, a request for proposals will be released very early in 2026.
Thank you.
And I will give you an overview of the amendment that's before you. As Director Davis mentioned, it is this is our last renewal for the contract. And we have made a few changes. In the prior years, our level 2 was a capitated rate, and we changed that this year. So our level 2 is going to be a fee for reimbursement plus a 6% case management admin fee. What this means is that the CMOs will contract out for residential care. They will submit the bills to the county. We will reimburse them for the costs for residential care and provide a 6% admin fee on top of that. For our in-home cases, which are probation level 1 and 1.5, it's a daily rate. I think it's $175 for level 1.5, $170 for level 1. We have the state rate for supervised independent living, and we also have the state rate for foster care. In addition to the daily rate, they will receive a 10% case management admin fee for all the levels 1 and 1.5. That's the main difference for this contract period than the previous contract period. We also looked at some numbers in our probation level 2 youth who come into the system. For 2024, that's 141 kids. In 2018, we had 272 kids that were level 2. That number's gone down, but the costs to care for those kids have gone up. Our probation level 1 and 1.5, for 2024, we had 737 kids administered to the programs. And in 2018, we had 233 kids. So that number's gone up. So with the juvenile justice reform, there's more emphasis placed on kids receiving services in-home in their community. The rates for level 2 have gone up astronomically. In 2018, it was $368 for a bed in a residential facility. The beds are now $1,100 for a night. And we haven't seen the state's rates yet. They still have the rates for 25 listed on their website. So I'm assuming that when they have their budget, that may possibly raise. So those are the basic changes. There are a few other changes with the scope. We have taken tether out of the CMO scope. House arrest is now doing the case management, the monitoring. They have a court liaison. They prepare reports to go to the court for any youth that are AWOL or outside their zone, violations for tether. So that is now with house arrest. It's no longer with the CMOs. And other changes relate to Assured Family Services not performing services after September. So the department has assumed some of those, and also in the MOU, the court will do the assessments for all the adjudicated kids. So if you have any questions.
Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you. So just for that group, the court's going to do, tell us the last thing.
Oh, okay. So Assured Family Services for doing the assessments
Yes.
for adjudicated kids.
Yes.
The court, they have a division clinical division. I can't think of the new name. It used to be the Clinic for Child Center. So they have a new name now. It's a Family
Yeah.
Assessment Clinic.
Mhm.
So they will be doing the assessments.
Okay, that's what did we talk about that last week? The budget?
Yeah, I
I'm
think we
kidding.
did.
We've gotten so many, I can't even, they took over for sure. Okay,
For some of their, and then the department is going to do the utilization. We will refer the youth to the CMOs.
okay. So why was the change made to the level 2?
Well,
And how is that gonna affect the CMOs?
well, we will reimburse them for whatever they pay. So no, regardless of what the residential facility is, if it's 1,100, we pay them 1,100 plus 6%. If it's 700, so it's a it's a fee for reimbursement for what they're paying. Before it was just a capitated rate,
Okay,
and they would take that amount and subcontract with the vendors, and then they would place kids in those residential facilities. But with the rate going up as high as it is, we wanted to be able to see how much reimburse the CMOs for that rate.
okay, so how is that gonna affect their budget? Probably be a decline in that area for them.
I don't see how it would be a decline if there's no out-of-pocket cost for them for the residential facility.
Okay,
If they pay 20,000, we're gonna pay you the 20,000 back and also give you a 6% admin fee.
Okay. all right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Khalil?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I didn't bring my level 1, level 1.5, level 2 cheat sheet with me. Can you refresh
Yes.
on what a level 2 individual is?
A level 2 individual is a youth that has been placed by the court out of home for treatment. So they are going to a residential facility.
Are these any of the individuals that we were talking about in our previous discussion?
Yes, possibly. If they have a juvenile and a mental, I mean, we have dual wards too. So someone that has a juvenile case and then also a child abuse case.
Okay. And that's one of the things that makes it so complicated, right? You've got our department, you got the State Department, you got the courts, you got this, you got that. These 5 extensions are before us today. Am I to assume that all 5 of the CMOs have signed off on this new agreement?
That is correct.
Okay. What a mess.
Do they really have a choice?
Well, we understand that the state may increase the rates, and we plan on meeting with the CMOs and looking at the trends, see how many kids they actually have in residential care and how many kids are in, probation. And probation level 1 and 1.5 is kids who are in the community.
Yeah.
The 1.5 has a heightened security. So, it's not our intent for the CMOs to lose any money on this contract. So we plan on meeting with them, throughout the year, seeing what happens at the state. And if we need to amend the contract, we will.
All right,
I was just trying to get at the back and forth conversation before they showed up here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
all right, thank you. Commissioner McCormick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's a lot of moving parts here, and I don't know if I can keep up with it because it's like, what? Okay, what did you say? Can you repeat that again? But we have, how many CMOs do we have here now? Are they?
We have 5. that we
No, I
can-
meant
oh,
like here. I was just wondering if we can,
I'm not sure.
if any have any input.
It looks
I'm
like
just-
they're all represented.
Okay, can we have any input from them? I'm just wondering what their thoughts are, because I don't understand the moving parts completely because we're not in it. And so you're asking them to do to make some changes. And I'm just wondering how they feel about the changes and how it will impact.
Okay.
No?
It's
From,
commission's
yeah,
pleasure.
no? Okay.
Oh.
Never mind. Never mind. All right. I'm just wondering because it's a lot here. So the assessment part, I'll just ask that question. The court is now going to do assessments. How many assessments, and the court, I guess, is on board with this,
Yes,
right?
they are. Yes, they are.
Okay. How many assessments will they take on? Do we know? Is that like 10 or 100? I don't know what the anybody.
I would have to get back with you on that answer,
Okay.
but they're going to be doing all of the assessment.
For juvenile, and for the justice
Yes.
complex and all the CMOs
Well, they
together.
will eventually get to the CMOs, but yes,
Okay. Who in the court is doing this? When you say the court will do?
it's the Family Assessment Services.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Okay. Any more? All right.
I'd like to move items 1 through 5 for approval.
Is there
2 through
support?
6. It's 2 through 6, Commissioner Kalina.
Is there support? Commissioner and support moved by Commissioner Colleen, supported by Commissioner Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote yes. Okay. All right, motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, next, oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to thank your staff and the commissioners for, I know it's been a tight month to get everything in. So we really appreciate your staff for sending us questions and us answering the questions, and we could be at the table today. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you both.
Commissioner Baker McCormick, how are you voting? Motion carried.
All right. Thank you. Oh, this is so complicated now with these children.
Moving to item 7 on the agenda, requesting commission approval of a 3-year memorandum of understanding with the Third Judicial Circuit Court of Michigan to define the standing, authority, and roles of the parties for delivering juvenile justice services in Wayne County.
Okay. All right.
Good morning, through
Good
the chair,
morning.
Sue Hamud, Deputy Corporation Counsel.
Rachel Davis, JYS Director.
Brian Manning, Assistant County Exec, CEO's Office.
Okay. You're on.
Good morning again. What you have before you is a memorandum of understanding between the county and the Wayne County Circuit Court for the administration and responsibility of delivering juvenile justice services to youth who are in our custody and facility. This is, for all intents and purposes, an extension of prior agreements. There are some, I will call them minor changes to the agreement from the previous one. Though were made through concentrated deliberations between us and the court. There were conversations obviously between the county and the court, but also conversations with the state And in the end, the determination was that the administration of juvenile youth services would best be served going through the county and in a partnership with the court.
Okay.
But it was not a conclusion reached easily.
Absolutely.
Wow. Do we have any questions? Commissioner Khalil?
Yeah, Madam Chair, this came to our agenda 9 o'clock this morning, something like that. So if you could go a little bit more into the history here, the previous MOUs that we've had, and I don't know if there's any slight changes when we're dealing with people like that. All changes are consequential for these use. So if you could describe a little bit more the overall MOU that we have and what the changes are in this one from previous ones.
So, through the chair, Commissioner Colleen, I'm going to do my very best to kind of go back to the genesis of this quickly, you know, for everybody's benefit. We used to have a three-party memorandum of understanding with the Third Circuit, the county, and the Michigan Department of Health and the Family Independence Agency, if I date myself, 99 or 2000. And basically this was an arrangement to allow the county to operate its own carve-out system of delinquent care. And we're the only county to operate in such a way. That this happened at all in retrospect is pretty remarkable. You know, the amount of heavy lifting that was involved. The county was coming out of some issues with its old juvenile detention facility at the time. And there's a lot of salesmanship that went on by county officials, including the former director of that department, Warren Evans.
Yeah, if I may,
get this going.
That time, 1999, 2000, that's when the state handed us
Yeah, there were
juvenile justice. And so a lot of things changed then, and that's the advent of the agreement with the courts.
Correct, to my best recollection. That is.
And does the county think that doing this local is better for the youth than having the state
we
set the rules from on high, if I can say it that way?
I'll agree with that. Yes, yes.
I saw some other nodding. Yeah.
No, like everything involved with this, there's a lot of complexity to it, and I'm going to try to spare everybody, but give enough detail that everybody kind of understands.
I appreciate that. I'll
yeah.
Thank you.
No, I think we assumed this. They were glad to give it to us. We had 3,500 children in out-of-home placement, and kids placed out of state. 80% of the kids placed out of state, or out of home, were Detroit kids, and we wanted it. You know, it clearly wasn't working. Kids were languishing in placement for multiple years. The outcomes are bad. The recidivism was bad. It was bad, bad, bad. Kids were ending up being waived into then recorder's court and, you know, for adult offenses left and right. This was an enormous step forward, you know, that took some years for it to save money, which was never really the aim of it anyway, no matter what anybody said. I mean, this was to clean up the outcomes and to give a better system for the kids and, you know, give something to the taxpayers that they were that they were getting something. They were getting some results. They were getting some kids who were getting some rehabilitative services, and they were able to move forward with productive lives. We don't have 3,500 kids in the system, mercifully. So there's a whole lot of reasons to keep this. We don't want to see it ever creep back in that direction. You know, for us, as has been well articulated at the table by, you know, Vista Maria's leadership, this is just an incredibly difficult environment for residential services provision. And we're down to like a handful of options statewide. And that's why we entered into this kind of round of discussions with the court, who's been an enormously good partner in this, Chief Rizard and the entire team and various members of the bench. I'm going to get in trouble for not naming all the members of the bench, but I will name Leslie Kim Smith as, you know, a judge here who's been incredibly helpful for us. When we had 150 kids backed up in the juvenile detention facility, the court worked with us hand in hand to try to deal with bond issues, tethering kids, shifting kids anywhere but there, within reason and safety. And, they've been an incredible partner in this, and candidly probably went a ways to giving us the kind of reassurance as a county we needed. Okay, we can do this, and if it's not under optimal conditions, we can still do it. So what you have before you is some reflection. I don't know how many material business changes I would say are really in the MOU. I think it was kind of to update language and generalize this. This thing's been in place so long, you'd see things like Jack, you'd see things like CMO, but this is really the county. We're responsible for this. And when we work with our community-based partners and nonprofits that we have for decades, and this is not easy for them. I know that. We've made a lot of changes this year. We've got evolving audit standards and all kinds of things that are playing too. So the question came up earlier about who's interested in this in Lansing. Several of us walked through the juvenile detention facility on Friday, August 22nd. We got House Oversight Chair John Roth from Grand Traverse. We walked him through facility. He represents Grand Traverse County, and they had a $60 million facility construction item nuked from the budget a few years ago too. But we're seeing interest start to come back into this kind of statewide from legislature, members of both parties. There really are nowhere to put kids anywhere. I mean, in Southeast Michigan, as difficult as our problems are, we've got a few options. So there's a lot we want to try to discuss with the legislature after we kind of get through this budget problem in Lansing and possibly in Washington, D.C. And that I would expect to get some pretty full attention from us through the fall. So the MOU is a 3-year. We didn't want to send an indeterminate forever up here, figuring we'd meet with the ire of Commission Council. So we have a fixed 3-year term on this agreement with the anticipation that we continue to work together and this remain an ongoing court-county partnership. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Killeen, and then Commissioner Marecki, and then Commissioner Anderson.
Yeah, and I'll just respond to your last comment too. I think the goals of the commission and the goals of administration are, we're walking in lockstep here. So perhaps when these discussions are had, that the inclusion of the commission in those discussions may be helpful at a few levels, that it's not just, that the state hears more from all of Wayne County, if I can say it that way. So I would think a little working group between the commission and the administration may be helpful here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we were told last week there was very minor changes in this MOU. So that's the bottom line, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we did literally get this at
Yeah.
9:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, for the most part, the changes in the MOU, as Brian mentioned, are cleaning up language. We've given ourselves, I think, some flexibility with respect to the Juvenile Assessment Center. But there's no major changes in the agreement.
And, I'm sure too that you all have had the feeling sitting at HHS that we are big fans of the CMO model. So I just want to reiterate that
As are
at this
we.
point. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mhm. Thank you, Commissioner Anderson, and then Commissioner McCormick.
I only want just to ask our attorney, our legal counsel, if she has anything she'd like to add to this that might be beneficial to all of us.
All right.
Through the chair to this honorable body, I do not.
Okay. Thank you. And now, Commissioner McCormick. You're through? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all, and I guess there's some more stuff we have to deal with.
Madam Chair.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Colleen
Commissioner Anderson
and
supported.
Commissioner Anderson supports. All in favor?
Hi.
And I vote aye.
Motion carried.
Motion carried. Thank you. All right, I guess next item, please.
Moving back to the agenda, F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Okay, I don't know of anything. Next item,
G, public comments.
is there anyone online that wish to make a comment? Anyone online?
There are no hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to make a statement? Anyone in the audience? Thank you all for coming, and we will move on.
Adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you. All right.